and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So as you can see, I have another pen for review. It says ASC and Armando Simone Club. Now this pen is on loan to me from John at stjohnspens.com. So I'd like to thank John for loaning me this pen out of his collection for review. This pen will be going back to John very shortly. So as you can see, it comes in this style box. If I lift the lid, you will see a inner box, and if I remove the inner box, you will see there this again another ASC logo, Armando Simone Club, and you'll see this Greek key band in a sort of herringbone style approach. Now these cases are magnetic closures, so you can see and hear there. So let's open this box up and I will show you the pen. So let's open the box, and first off you see there, no compromise, our pens are 100% handmade in Italy, and we are proud of that. Now if I remove the pen just briefly and I'll show you the extras. So we have some text there from Armando Simone Club, believe in making great pens, etc. And then you have a false tray. You also have another brochure here as well, and you have a dear customer card and a warranty card. Now the brochure just basically goes into Armando Simone Club, Manu the founder, and also some of the pens that you can see here that Armando Simone Club actually make. So let's put all that back in. I'm not going to go through that. I've gone through that with a number of other pen review videos. So I think let's remove the pen from its levitating bed and we'll close that down. So this is the pen that I have for review, and this is an Armando Simone Club, and this is the Bologna Medio, and this is in what Omar's called the Saft green. This is a very sort of old style goldy green kind of colour that you can see here, and it has a lot of chatoyance. This is celluloid, but you can just see how that comes to life. Now in terms of the pen itself, you can see there it says ASC and it says Armando Simone Club. It has the standard Italian style roller clip, which is quite functional. The cap itself tapers in to the cap finial, tapers out to about here, and then you have the metal Greek key band, and then you also have a metal band at the base of the cap. There's a very slight step down here, and then the body tapers down to this gold band, which normally would be to signify the piston filling knob, or it would be a blind cap. In this case it is a blind cap, and I'll show you why. If I remove the cap first, let me show you the nib. It's a 14 karat gold ASC nib with an ebonite feed there that you can see. It does taper out and flute out a little bit more to the base of the section. You've got the threads, you have a couple of gold bands there, and a slight step up to the body. Now I said that this was a blind cap, and I'll show you why. Because if you unscrew the body here, you will see what essentially is a captured converter. So you can see the window there, and it basically is a converter encased in metal. Now the reason why I say it's a captured converter is that this is not a cartridge converter. It's a bigger capacity, and it will not remove from the section there. So some people may call this a piston, some people call a cartridge converter a piston. Personally, I call this a captured converter. Now I do like the pattern that is engraved on this captured converter. You can see there it's very Art Deco like. So I think ASC have done a good job in actually creating this captured converter. Now if I put that back on and it will screw up. It does get a little bit tight towards the end. In terms of the size of my hand, the pen is a good size. I'd say it's just about bordering on oversize. Can I post the cap? Yes, I can, and it does post quite securely. It does make it a lot longer, and honestly, I don't post my caps, but I know some of you do, and I know that's a question you always ask. Can I post those caps? Now, because of that internal captured converter, I do find that adds quite a bit of weight to the pen, and honestly, I find that is good weight to the pen, but it's not a lightweight pen because of that. So just bear that in mind. But I like the green Saft material. I love that this green material has these black veins, almost like confetti, that are just running through that body there. It's a really beautiful material, and it's one I've seen in a lot of OMASs. I nearly did pick up an OMAS at one point with the Saft green, and also an ASC Bologna Extra. Actually, it is a nice material. So I think with that, let's do a size check. We'll do a weight check. We'll do a pen comparison, and then we'll do a writing sample. So the length of the pen, we are looking at about 139 millimeters in length. The length of the cap to that second gold band, we're looking at about 63 millimeters in length. Now, in terms of the length of the body, let's see if I can stop that rolling away for a moment. To the tip of the nib or tip of the tines, we're looking at about 129, 130 millimeters. So that is bordering on oversize, and I think you can see that in the size of my hand that this is actually quite a long pen. It's not long in terms of some of the pens I have in my collection, but it's still what I would class as an oversized pen. So I think with that, let's do a weight check. Now, the full weight of the pen, and this is uninked, is just over 46 grams in weight. The weight of the cap, we are looking at just under 12 grams. And then the weight of the body uninked, we are looking at just over 30 grams in weight. So it's not a heavy pen. I've had much, much, much heavier, but it's also not a super light pen like you might find with some Twisbys or other pens, maybe narwhals or things like that. But this is a lot more expensive, and so I think that the weight actually makes the pen a lot better, in my opinion. So I think let's do a comparison with other pens. So from left to right, we have an Armando Simone Club Bologna Extra in the wild. We have an Armando Simone Club Bologna Extra in the Arco Brown or Bronze. We have an Armando Simone Club Bologna Extra in the Arco Verde. We have a Montegrappa Extra 1930 Shiny Lines Dove. We have a Montegrappa Bartolomeo Ferracina in the Shiny Circles. We have an Armando Simone Club Bologna Medio in the Saft Green. We have a Scribo Phil in the Verde Prato. We have a Sailor King pen, Sakura Nagar. We have a Sailor King pen, Pro Gear in the Lucky Charm. And we have a Tatcha My Abbey Winter's Breath. So I think let's go and do a writing sample. So this is the Armando Simone Club, and it's the Bologna, and it is the Medio, and it's a medium, and it's a 14 cat gold nib. Now, the ink in here today is Diamine, and it is Sherwood Green, which is a lovely dark green from Diamine. Now, in terms of line variation, we are seeing, I would say, probably a Western medium. Now, because it's a 14 karat gold nib, I can push that a lot more, and I'd say almost get a broad line out of that nib. And then obviously it will start to railroad a little bit as you push it, because that is typically what happens with nibs that do flex. So you do need a lot of ink flow. So I was going quite fast there. If I went slower, that probably wouldn't have been a problem. Now you can see there's no hard starts or skips there on the ink. Now in terms of ink wetness, let's take a look at this. I think this is going to be a wet writer. Yes, very, very wet. So this is what I would call a fire hose of a nib. So this is a very, very wet writing nib. Now I have actually reviewed some other Medios. They have been wet writers as well. Not as wet as this one, but this is super wet. So this is a fire hose nib for sure. What do I like and what do I not like about these pens? Well, I like that it's an Armando Simone Club. I do like ASC pens. I like that it's using the Omas Saft green celluloid. I like that it's got some weight and heft to the pen. I like the size and I like the weight. I like how that nib writes. That for me is a fire hose nib, and I do like wet writing nibs. What do I not like about the pen? Well, for me, I much prefer to have a cartridge converter or a captured converter or a piston over a sac filling pneumatic filler. And I'm glad that ASC have done that. But I know some of you will probably not like that it is a captured converter, that you cannot remove that converter and swap it out. So maybe that's one of the only negative points. For me, it's not a major negative. I've not had issues with other captured converters, but it may be a negative for you. Now, I'd like to thank John from stjohnspens.com for loaning me this pen for review. If you haven't checked out John already, you can check John out at stjohnspens.com or St. John's Pens on Instagram. So I'd like to thank John again for loaning me this pen for review. So that's my review of the Armando Simone Club Bologna Medio with a medium 14 karat gold nib. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye bye.